which I do believe we are. Well, maybe. We might have some technical difficulties. We'll see. Still working on that. Should be this one right there. No. Or is it that one?
It's the one up. It always has that and then the one above it.
Okay, so it looks like we are up and running. All right.
Wore out.
Mouse is wore out, so everybody's pretty wore out. Anyway, welcome. Class schedule. What do we got? 10-3, 10-4, NRA pistol instructor. 10-3, concealed carry class. That's going to be your basic pistol. We're going to be doing an NRA class on 10-3. 10-10 pistol fundamentals. If you want some more practice with your pistol, you want to really get good with that, then that is going to be the class to learn how to use that tool. Well, then the next, after 10-3, the next class that we have with open spots is 11-15. So we may be shoving something in there. We may not. We don't know. It just depends upon how much help we got. But we'll see how it goes. 11-15, there's slots open for that one. 11-29, there's slots open for that one. If you've taken one of our classes or hung around us much, you probably heard us talk about the U.S. Law Shield seminars where you get to actually go and talk to a defense attorney. We're having another one of those, 10/22 at 6:30 p.m. I think that's a Wednesday, isn't it? No, it's a Thursday. Thursday evening. Thursday. So October 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Minerva Sportsmans Club. There is a link to get signed up for it on our Facebook page.
A couple posts below this one.
Yep. And if you're a member, it's free. If you're a non-member, it's $10. Even if you're a non-member, the $10 is absolutely worth going and talking to an actual self-defense attorney. They got some pretty good insight. We learned a lot from them guys every time they do this. So
it's a real good thing. He kind of gets a little more in depth on even more on some of the laws, kind of puts a couple of scenarios out there. Actually, kind of really does the same, kind of paints this big, broad scenario picture and then changes minute details in the whole scenario and actually turns the scenario into something that would have, you'd have been legally justified into something where, you got a really good fight on your hands all the way into something where, you're going down for this one, and just changes some minor details and just gives you a lot of things to think about and, put some stuff into perspective and you get to ask them. You get to ask the guy all the questions you got rolling around in your head about all kinds of different things. You get to ask the guy.
Well, that's the thing about a self-defense situation. Anyway, if there's one little detail that changes the whole dynamics of the whole thing.
yes,
Yep.
yeah, we got a kind of a wild video tonight. And we'll see if we can get it pulled up. I was going to do I have the footage from the Kyle Rittenhouse deal, but I think we're going to have to approach that one really carefully because they've been pulling all that footage down and taking people's pages down and all kinds of stuff like that. So we're going to have to deal with that one maybe in a couple different segments and not really advertise it, but I think maybe next week or the week after we're gonna dig into that a little bit.
Save that footage in case it all disappears.
I actually ripped it off from the internet and then took out all of the repeats, spliced it all back together, and then saved it on my hard drive. So it is there permanently. Get rid of this. So this is our video tonight, and this is kind of a crazy one. We're going to put this in theater mode. This is, well, let's get into it. It's kind of insanity, right? And I don't know really much backstory about this, other than this guy ends up over here. And for whatever reason, he gets pretty upset at the ammo case at Walmart and decides that he's going to shoot a hole in it and then pull it apart, reaches in and grabs one box of ammo. And away he goes.
Shoot the thing apart.
So he not only, apparently he must have shot that box of ammo. So he figured if he touched it, it was his. But he's got a 5-shot LCR snub, so now he's down to 4 rounds. And
I mean, when they were selling pistol ammo, I know you might have to wait a few minutes for the people to get out there with the key, but
yeah,
they usually send somebody over there pretty quick.
well, this gets a little crazier. So the guy goes barreling out the door, waving the gun around. No shots fired, and he goes running up to this dude. This dude's like, "Screw you, man, I'm not giving you a ride," and drives away. Good job for this dude. So then this guy, and this goes back to situational awareness. Look at this whole crowd of people. Nobody turns around. This guy doesn't make any noise. Remember, right?
Yeah.
First sign of trouble, start making a bunch of racket. Here he goes. He spots another car backing out. And he goes for the driver's window. She decides she's going to back into another vehicle as he walks along. Somebody tries to exit the vehicle out the passenger side, and I think it's probably the driver if you watch the car, which is good for her. I think she decided to just get out of the car and let him have the car. But the thing is, if you're in your car, if you don't have a pistol to defend yourself,
You have a car.
You still have a car.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave away not only her crappy cover, but her castle doctrine and
her weapon.
And her weapon. So the car kind of rolls away, and he decides he can't get in the car.
Getting back in.
So she gets back into the car. And you can see her foot being dragged along right there. Yeah. And then he runs off. And that is pretty much the end of it. So here's the thing. When this guy starts his ridiculous actions, this video isn't really about him. It's more about the people surrounding him, right? He comes barreling in a Walmart, goes around the corner, almost runs that girl over, and then ends up in the ammo case. Nobody even pays him a mind. There's no employees. There's no manager. There's no nothing, right? And then the guy literally shoots a hole in the ammo case in the Walmart, pulls the door off, gets his box of ammo, and I want you to notice something. If you look back here, right? Let's go back a little bit. There's a little bit more. A little more. I want everybody to look right here, right above this dude's head, right there, okay? Now, mind you, he just lit a shot off in the Walmart. These people are casually strolling down the aisleway. And so are these people. Somebody just opened fire. Can you imagine the noise of a .38 Special snub revolver in a big box store and nobody's paying it mind. Like, nobody's going for cover, nobody's going for concealment, nobody's on the phone to 911. There's no cashiers running around, there's no management running around. This has got to be the worst neighborhood in the entire country.
Nobody
paid attention to
about it.
Nobody pays attention about somebody opening fire in the Walmart. Nobody in this whole video even pays it mind.
That's
The only
just it. Getting
person
some
that
ammo
backed up
again.
was, as this guy was leaving, there's a guy that's come across from the side.
Yeah,
And he
so
backed up.
this
Yeah,
dude's waving
wheels
a gun
wheels
around.
a gun out.
He's wheels a gun out, right? Goes walking by. This dude walks up. Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa, as he runs by. And
Yeah.
he ducks. He ducks like, whoa, right? But mind you, it's what, 8 seconds before this that he shot a hole in the case. Why are you up moving around?
Yeah.
The only guy that should be up moving around is this idiot with the pistol. Everybody else should be behind cover figuring out who's the idiot with the pistol.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine you didn't hear that outside, but we have an entire group of people. If these people were in the store, why are they milling around in the parking lot and not in their cars? Somebody just opened fire in the Walmart.
Yeah.
Along with this person. Along with this person. Like, everybody's just kind of chill. That was my whole point behind this whole video is the guy literally opens fire in the big box store and everybody's
Nobody
like,
gave any,
Nobody pays any attention to it and just keeps going on with their day. And
hello? If I'm in this store, somebody opens fire, whoever I'm with is going to be down behind something that stops bullets.
Yep.
And we're going to be out surveying the scene. Like, who's got the pistol?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
Yeah, one facing that way, one facing
yeah.
this way.
Somebody just opened fire in the Walmart.
Yep.
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah.
Hey, we might need an officer.
Yeah.
Or a dozen. Nobody, like, I watched this and I'm like, huh. Nobody cares. Nobody cares
I mean, you look at the
whatsoever.
parking lot. Looks like a
Relatively decent place, anyway.
Yeah. This says,
where is it?
Tumwater Walmart.
Got to be Florida.
Yeah.
With a town with a name that stupid. It's
I don't
gotta be
know where
Florida.
somebody needs to Google Tumwater, but I don't know where Tumwater's at.
It's got to be Florida.
I have no idea. But that was the most amazing part. Nobody cared. Like, oh my gosh. People are so engrossed in their entire, I guess, amazing shopping experience at this particular shopping center
Washington.
in Washington.
It's full of
Yeah,
liberals.
that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Washington State.
I thought they were a bunch of anti-gun idiots up there.
Oh, they are. Except for protesters. People go around shooting up Walmart.
You think that would have? I mean, you think everybody should have been freaking out then?
You would think. But that was rather interesting. Like, nobody? No, nothing. Really. Okay, whatever.
Pay attention, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. If somebody opens fire in the Walmart, cover and concealment, first two things. After that, maybe a phone call 911 unless somebody's shooting at you. Take it from there, right?
Yep.
Whatever. So in any event, did you hear about the police chasing Alliance? Alliance police chase starts with a domestic dispute and ends with police finding an AK-47 pistol.
I didn't know.
Huh.
It's not
Interesting.
even fully loaded.
And I think I know one of these guys.
It's not even full.
No, it's not full.
That's one box.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
one box.
It must have been one box.
He bought one box of rounds for it. Man led Alliance police on a chase Tuesday night after pointing an AK-47 pistol at his ex-girlfriend and her brother. Alliance police said 26-year-old Demario McKenzie of Columbus went to a residence on Reed Street where his ex-girlfriend and her brother were. At the residence, he allegedly pointed a loaded AK-47 pistol at them before police arrived. McKenzie got in his BMW and drove away from the scene when he saw officers arrive. Police said McKenzie tried to hit an officer's car head-on before driving northbound out of town with a pistol in his BMW. So if you're from Columbus and you decide to be an idiot in Alliance, don't drive out of town because there ain't nothing out there.
No.
You're just going to run into a farm tractor.
Redneck hillbillies out there, man.
Yeah. Police caught up to McKenzie on State Route 14 at Edinburgh. Yeah, I know where that's at. He's got a better chance of running into the back of a farm tractor in that town than he does getting away.
Yeah, right.
Officers apprehended McKenzie and found the AK-47 and a bag of crack cocaine in his car. You knew it started out like a bad bar joke. There was going to be crack cocaine involved somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
Pretty close.
Um,
What I don't understand is you know, crack dealer, drug addicts and everything. How does he afford a BMW?
I don't know. It must have been the other. It must have been the other article.
Be oppressed.
Must be.
He doesn't have a Jag.
Yeah. It must have been the other article that I read that mentioned the officers' names, but I think I know both of them guys that ended up arresting them. Yeah, it's probably not a wise idea to run from those guys. So
No.
anyway,
I wonder if that's for sale.
I don't know. We got to call up the
It's
Alliance
brand
PD.
new. It's still got the rubber thing on the end of the charging.
Oh
handle.
yeah, right there. Yeah,
That thing is pristine.
we'll call them guys up. Hey, you want to sell that?
One of them probably already bought it.
Probably.
He's probably bought it and already got it drilled and set for a brace.
I wonder if we can do that. We call up the police department and say, "Hey, can we buy some stuff out of the evidence logger? We confiscated stuff. We give you $1 a piece for them."
As long as it's a closed case, I think. Well,
It's not
because if it's that's only with taxpayer funded. Like if they're getting rid of old equipment, that has to go for auction because taxpayers bought it.
Yeah.
So they all have to have an opportunity for it. But taxpayers didn't buy that.
No.
Some numbnuts from Columbus bought it.
And then got it taken away because he decided to point it at
spent
somebody.
$700 or $800 on that and got it taken away.
Yeah.
And only loaded it once.
If he just bought it, I bet he spent twice that.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it. Right.
$2,000 Draco.
And then he decided to get it taken away because he had crack cocaine. So this one, everybody probably by now has heard about the LA police that got ambushed by some idiot. I've been trying to get video of that, but I haven't been able to find any real good stuff. So protesters tried to break into the emergency room where the ambushed police officers were being treated. Why? It was rocked this morning when news broke out of 2 Los Angeles cops who were ambushed around 7 p.m. on Saturday night at a metro station in Compton. Initial reports say the suspect was walking past their car when he pulled out a gun and shot the 2 deputies multiple times while they were sitting in their parked patrol car. The 2 deputies have both undergone surgeries and are listed in critical condition. Los Angeles Police Department has said the deputies were a man 24 and a woman 31 who's the mother of a 6-year-old boy. The 2 had been with the force for about 14 months. The suspect is still at large at the time of the article. And I do believe that the lady officer was shot twice in the face.
Twice in the face and
She's
dragged
actually
her
been
part.
released.
Yeah.
She got shot twice in the face, dragged her partner out of the car, applied a tourniquet, called for backup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saved his life.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
She is a badass.
hopefully she's up for commendation. And
there was people who watched the whole thing
Yeah.
across the street. And
Nobody
she was
helped.
trying to drag him out. She was covered in her own blood and his blood. And they were there videoing the whole thing.
oh yeah, drives me crazy. This is open season on law enforcement weren't bad enough. Eyewitnesses report seeing even worse behavior. While the two officers were being treated at a nearby emergency room, angry protesters were trying to break into the hospital.
Mhm.
The mob gathered outside, and the hospital wasn't there to offer hopes and prayers. In this video below, you can hear a protester saying some pretty nasty things we won't repeat. These people are standing up to injustice. These people are trying to right the wrongs of Western civilization, many that date from before their lifetimes. I think they're talking about the protesters.
Mhm.
Give us a break. They're violent, irrational, destructive, and entitled. We don't care what color they are. They're terrible human beings. Like all brats who were hugged instead of spanked, they're going to keep breaking and destroying things until grown-ups finally put them in a timeout and tell them they've crossed the line. Well, I also had an article that the Portland protests just vanished in the last couple days, and then we had some protests in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Which you ever been to Lancaster, Pennsylvania? It's kind of a
Kind of backwater town there.
Yeah, it's
really,
not-
ain't it?
They laid the
More than-
smackdown on that one right away.
Yeah.
like a coal steel town. It's not,
Yeah.
it's pretty blue collar.
Mhm.
But Lancaster put the smackdown on that $100,000 bond or something like
$1
that.
million bond.
Oh, really?
$1 million
$1 million
bond.
bond.
Wow, $1
on
million
them all.
bond. Wow.
Oh, they're having a hissy fit about that.
We'll let him have a hissy fit about it. But you got video evidence of a guy with a knife trying to stab the cop, and he
Yep.
defends himself
Yep.
just like any of us would.
Yep.
And I, not to get racial or anything, but the guy with the knife, he wasn't even a black guy, was he?
No, he was a white guy. He was a white guy.
I saw a video. He looked like a white guy
Yep.
to me.
He
I don't.
was a
Maybe it
white
was
guy.
half. I don't know.
Yeah, he's mentally deranged on PCP or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So
Yeah, he was a white guy.
I don't know what the gig with that is, but
I don't
yeah.
know.
So
I
thankfully,
Oh, and they're going nuts. Oh, well, why didn't they tase him, or why did they shoot him in the leg?
because he got a knife. That's why.
Watching that, like the video we did last week, and I've seen there's actually a couple of other ones I've seen too, where they took essentially like the same, essentially the same person, somebody who's on one side and wants to see certain things, and they take them into the training centers, and they go, okay, we're going to act like we have people act. And they set them up so they're actually pulling stuff from actual cases
Yeah.
of encounters. You have to react how you think you should react.
Right. Exactly.
And you start getting into them videos, and the people that are like, well, and the same people that are like, well, you should have tased him. They're like,
Yeah. Exactly.
well, yeah.
Yeah. It's not always quite that simple.
No. And shoot him in the leg? No.
Yeah. Well, here's the
No,
thing.
and the same cliche works. You get the rest of our lives, the armchair
Mhm.
Armchair quarterback.
to look at something that
Yeah,
the guy had
exactly.
split seconds to make a decision.
Well, the way I look at it is the guy started the fight and he brought a knife to a gunfight. So
Yeah.
he deserved it.
Yeah, there you go.
You started it, you brought the knife. So I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you. You got luck, Mac. This is a first. I haven't seen this. Federal judge calls Pennsylvania governor's orders illegal.
Yeah.
Governor DeWine defends his own orders at a press conference. I don't want to read this whole thing, but a federal court in Pennsylvania issued a declaratory judgment citing violations of the U.S. Constitution to strike down Democratic Governor Tim Wolf's authority to close businesses, issue stay-at-home orders, and limit gatherings. Although the decision is not binding in Ohio, it sets precedent. Gyms, sports bars, restaurants, water parks, dance studios, In May, Lake County Common Police Court Judge Eugene Lucci said the director of the Ohio Department of Health had no statutory authority to close all business, and the director had acted in an impermissibly arbitrary, unreasonable, and oppressive manner without any procedural safeguards. The following ruling, plaintiff gyms and fitness centers were ordered to reopen. Again in Erie County, this time in June, Common Police Court Judge Roger Bennett ruled in favor of a plaintiff water park that brought suit against the state for business restrictions. Judge Bennett said that the health director's orders violated the separation of powers that exists in our Constitution, as the orders gave one unelected official the power to make rules and enforce criminal consequences. The judge went on to say criminalizing non-criminal activity for order violations extinguished due process rights. In late July, Ashland County Common Police Court Judge Ronald Forsefel called state orders that caused the revocation of a restaurant's business license a denial of civil liberties, including the right to earn a living and operate a commercial enterprise without due process of law. Judge Forsefel also called into question the capriciousness of the state's mask mandate, saying any exception to the order brings into question the nature of the emergency that warrants the mandate. In the case of County Prosecutor Chris Tunnell, recused himself from representing the local health department, which found the restaurant in violation, saying that he could not represent the plaintiff because they didn't see a defense that wouldn't be frivolous. Warren County Common Police Judge Timothy Teep heard the case involving sports businesses that had been restricted. Judge Teep allowed the sports business to move forward without the more onerous restrictions placed on contact sports, saying that there were arbitrary considerations guiding the different rules for contact versus non-contact sports, an unreasonable restriction. Despite these rulings from Ohio's judiciary, Governor DeWine and Ohio Department of Health continue to pump out orders involving bars and restaurants. And this gets really long here.
U.S. District Court Judge
Yes.
William Stickman.
So particularly involved in a decision where the First Amendment, 14th Amendment, Judge Stickman said the Pennsylvania order restricting gatherings were unconstitutional, a violation of the right to assemble under the First Amendment. The stay-at-home orders and business orders violated due process clause of the 14th. The business closures also violated the equal protection under the law clause of the 14th Amendment. And in summary, I read Judge Stickman's review, and the summary of his review said that rights guaranteed under the Constitution are not fair weather rights. They cannot be enforced, removed, renewed, or violated because of any essential type of emergency, non-emergency, or anything like that. The rights are established, and therefore they're there forever. The government doesn't get the ability to pick and choose and remove them at their will.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I think that's a lot of what the issue is behind a lot of these business closures and different things like that, is the fact that the government has mandated it and not allowed the people to come up with a sensible decision to protect themselves the way they see or feel that is fit for them, which I think is really the basis.
They still work for us.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's really the basis of the entire argument is we've got governors and mayors and stuff like that who are essentially mandating orders to the people who have got sometimes better ideas on how to take care of this problem than the government does, and they use a heavy hand and kind of a broad knife and do everything. It's like
because they know best.
Well, it's kind of like you can't serve alcohol after 10 p.m.
Yeah.
The idea was that they wanted to reduce the crowds in the congregation of the people. But what does 10 p.m. or 10:01 have to do with
any of that?
Any of that, right?
Nothing.
What does having to wear a mask in a restaurant have to do with if you're going to walk in 5 feet and sit down at the table and have a meal, you're still going to converse and you're still going to have the same issues, which is what all of this kind of
that's
stuff.
the thing about restaurants. You got to wear a mask in. You take it off to eat.
Which makes
what's the difference?
Well, it's kind of like when it first started and they went around and they closed the parks.
Yeah.
Like you closed the outside. You're supposed to stay away from people, but outside isn't far enough away.
They closed all the campgrounds, the state parks, all that stuff.
all that stuff.
So I can't go hike in the woods?
Yeah.
You know, when they give coronavirus to the friggin' raccoon. Yeah, that was when we went down to Hocking Hills and they had 2/3 of the place closed. I was so friggin' mad. I stopped and, we kind of ripped on a ranger a little bit and then went to a metro park and talked to him about it. And he's like, the metro park was open, but the state park was closed. And the metro park had all of the tourists that had gone to Hocking Hills in a smaller park.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, McFly. That does you no good.
Yeah. It's
whatever.
It gives you the real obvious distinction that these people have no clue how the rest of us live.
No, that's the problem.
That is unfathomable to them.
They don't have. They're so disconnected from how actually people work.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
It's like the essential, non-essential business type thing. Like in our area, a vast majority of the businesses were considered essential. So not a whole lot changed.
Yeah, that's right.
Unless you were one of the poor people that had a hair salon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
But how do they figure that Home Depot and Lowe's are essential?
I don't know how
and
they
Walmart.
figure that out. Groceries, I think.
Well, yeah, Home Depot and Lowe's don't have groceries. But.
Right. I fix your house or whatever.
Well, they sell construction equipment and they sell PPE and they sell
Yeah, they got 5 pieces of PPE in the whole damn place.
Right. Well, moving on. Our Democratic nominee for president says no firearms training for teachers. Like permanently? Like if you're a teacher, you can't take firearms training?
Probably.
This gets a little better. Biden doesn't want our children's teachers to defend themselves or their students with firearms, even though they could very well save lives. Biden, the Democratic Party's nominee for president, has made his disdain for the Second Amendment and legal gun owners very clear. He actually seems proud of that disdain, and on his candidate's website lists every anti-gun action he will take if he becomes president of the United States. I think his vice president's more likely going to do that because I don't think the guy can sign his name anymore.
No.
Mm-mm.
One of Biden's pledges is to prohibit the use of federal funds to arm or train educators to discharge firearms. Well, I read that sentence and I thought, doesn't the state and the government pay police trainers? So are we not going to have police academies anymore?
Right.
Well, on top of that is that these same people are severing ties with their police departments and their resource officers.
Yeah.
So that was their argument before. Well, there's cops in schools.
Yeah.
You just threw them all out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we've been saying for years, you send your kids to school. They actually spend more time at school than they do at home when they're awake. So they absorb all the teacher's values, opinions, morals, everything at school. So you're trusting them with all of that, but you don't trust them to defend their lives.
Right? One thing,
Hello.
It ought to be teacher choice, absolutely. But you're right about that. And I think next week I'm going to dig up the article that there was a group that is now questioning the education system in this country because what did we do? We shut it off and sent all the kids home to be homeschooled, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So Why are we paying this
Gigantic.
gross amount of money when you got to figure, the school system gets a couple $1,000 a kid per month, right? When really all they need is one of these bad boys and a teacher.
There you go. You don't need buildings. You don't need gyms. You don't need sports programs. You don't need none of that. So why are we paying property taxes, school taxes? You know?
Good question.
People ask lots of questions. Sometimes they don't like the
They don't
answers
like-
they find out.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's the same question that I asked is if we shut the parks down, the schools down, road crews down, blah, blah, do I get a refund on my taxes? Like we
Right.
already paid for this.
Yeah, we already paid for this.
I got told to shut up, so whatever. Apparently, Biden was referring to the 2018 promise made by President Donald J. Trump to provide such funding to help train teachers and other school staff in firearm safety and self-defense. But notice how he shifts from requiring, no one is seriously suggesting requiring teachers to do this, with barring states from using federal dollars to train teachers. Whoa. And breaking news.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies.
Really?
So we are going to get another conservative justice on
There we go.
the Supreme Court.
There we go.
This is going to be the next fight.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll accuse this appointee of this time. Like most anti-gun extremists, Biden believes that simply turning a blind eye to reality will somehow change. Yeah, we figured that out. Biden should be remembered was a key player in pushing forward the Gun-Free School Zone Act of 1990. If anybody's ever researched that one, it's a bunch of junk. There's a great deal of evidence that gun-free zones may be more attractive to violent criminals. I think we've already pretty much proven that. Increased number of school districts have determined that the statistics is not mere happenstance. This is why the districts are looking to add another level of security to the facilities by offering their teachers the opportunity to take firearm safety and self-defense training, allowing them to have access to firearms while on school property. So it's one of them things where it should be teacher, school board, attendee, people, residents of the area choice. If you have somebody who's willing to step up and take the training, be proficient, stay up with it, on and on, let them do it.
Yeah.
If somebody says, I don't want to do this, then that's fine.
That's fine.
Right? If you have a whole school that says, I don't want to do this, but maybe it's time to hire an outside resource officer or something like that, right?
Yep.
But it should be the choice of the people in the school district, not this guy.
Especially not that guy.
Yeah, not that guy. You can't even form a coherent sentence.
Nope. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
One of gun control's biggest lies exposed, along with a ringer on Nate's phone. Junk. More telemarketers.
My car warranty's going to expire.
Yeah? I asked them if they could warranty a 59 Studebaker the other day, and they got mad at me.
Yeah, we asked them about a Datsun 300Z.
Oh, yeah?
That's a little out of our range.
Well, you called.
Yeah. In a recent opinion article, William McGurn, a member of the Wall Street Journal editorial board, tells us he got a permit for a pistol in New Jersey. If anybody's ever followed the Emily Gets Her Gun series out of Washington, D.C., she did a similar thing. And what they put her through in Washington, D.C. was atrocious. He then asked what so many first-time gun buyers are asking this year. Do other Americans buying guns for the first time find it as grating as I do to learn that we need government permission to exercise a constitutional right? Huh.
Imagine that.
He's a member of the Wall Street Journal. That is
One of the
as
most
liberal as you get.
Yeah, as liberal as you
right?
get. No
Honest
doubt about
questions like this, asked often enough and by enough people, change this system. It's not can change the system. They absolutely change this system. If you ask the government why you need this so many times in a row, eventually they're going to figure out that, wait a minute, these guys don't like this, right? And then somebody's going to get the idea on campaigning to change what you don't like. And then they're going to go to office and they're going to garner support and they change what you don't like. So vote.
Mhm.
We've written a lot here about the nearly 5 million and counting new gun owners in America this year. How about this trend might influence the electorate in this presidential election? But experiences such as McGurn's are also pulling threads on a big lie often told by gun control groups and the politicians that support them. They tell us Americans' freedom is to blame for the illegal actions of small but dangerous criminal class. Politicians who want more gun control then use this as a lie, as rationale, to attempt to convince the public that the way to reduce violent crime is therefore to massively restrict our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Well, in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, and California,
Most
Illinois,
places in the country.
they are massively restricted anyway. In too many cases, a comfortable and relatively safe populace has fallen for this dishonesty, without realizing, in good times anyway, that what these groups and politicians really want is power over them that is not constrained by the people's individual rights. We learned this with Florida back in the 80s. If anybody remembers or knows or studied the rise of the modern concealed handgun license, it pretty much started, the shall issue system started in the mid to late 80s with Florida because of their crime wave. They got so tired of it, they said, well, the people kept going back to the government officials, to the police departments, to the sheriffs.
Why can't I have a gun?
Why can't I defend myself? Why does this have to be like? They said, fine, do it your way, and gave them this shall issue permit. I don't remember exactly what year, but I'll look it up if I need to.
84? No.
I think it was 94.
94.
By the time it was all said and done, I think it was 94.
Yeah.
And anyway, guess what happened in Florida? Crime plummeted. I mean, literally plummeted into the 2000s down to Florida used to be known when I was a kid as like the bad place to go, man. Like Miami Vice, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, that was based on
Yeah,
real fact.
It's like Chicago PD today. They make these PD shows from the bad places. They don't, pick
You had all
Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah, why would you watch
you had
that?
all these coke cartels out there machine gunning people in the streets.
Yeah.
Right.
So
why would you watch a
Idiot.
morning show about Peoria, Illinois when you want to watch Chicago PD? Or
I know,
Miami
right?
Vice,
Like the corn's growing.
Yeah, the corn's growing. Yeah.
But now, in uncertain times, to put it mildly, people are looking for the security their freedom promises. They're especially interested in getting their hands on freedom's tools. Yes, guns. When in their search for individual safety, they run into an uncaring bureaucracy. They're inevitably jarred awake by the realization that their freedom has been unduly encumbered by an oppressive state. McGurn has clearly had his now common realization. McGurn then had another realization that goes against mainstream media narratives. He said, our family's decision to buy a gun has introduced us to the side of the NRA more Americans see, the education side. The NRA has courses online, in person, for almost everything. The NRA instructor my wife and I engaged, Billy D. Almeida, was firm, professional, and patient. The people think the NRA, especially when they're outside of the gun world, and even a lot of guys in the gun world, think that they're just a lobbying organization.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the National Rifle Association is based in training. That is the vast majority of what they do. The lobbying organization just gets all the noise.
Yeah, they're actually the biggest firearms training organization in the world. There isn't. And if NRA goes away, who do you think is going to train most of the police and everybody.
Yeah. Well, police, the military
Yeah.
program started out with
Right.
National Rifle Association. Some of them still work on that.
Yeah. Most gun ranges are NRA affiliated.
Gun ranges, you got to have insurance through the NRA. There's a few other companies out there, but nothing is comprehensive.
No.
You're looking at every scout program, 4-H program, and youth program vanishing.
Yep.
I mean, that's bad news, man. So,
yeah.
It's not just the instruction that impresses. It's a sheer Americanness of private organizations established to support a constitutional right in all its manifestations, from defending the Second Amendment legally and philosophically to instilling in newbies such as myself the respect for guns necessary to keep and use them safely, not to mention the taste of the satisfaction that comes from mastering a new discipline. After his deep dive into the New Jersey bureaucracy and happy exposure to all the NRA has to offer, McGurn said, surely if the government were to assume the functions of the NRA provides, the experience would be akin to going to your local Department of Motor Vehicles. In America, by contrast, the ethos emphasizes private initiatives and responsibility in our new interactions with gun owners. Gun instructors and owners of gun ranges, my wife and I have found them unfailingly eager to help and answer even the dumbest question. He also notes that new gun owners, people who now have hands-on experience with this right, might impact the coming election. In Pennsylvania alone, the National Shooting Sports Foundation reckons there are 276,648 first-time gun owners this year. To put this in perspective, in 2016, Donald Trump won Pennsylvania by 44,292 votes.
Whoa.
So, I don't like propaganda lessons. I don't like the two bunches of horns and stuff like that. But the fact is, they're right about private organizations supporting a constitutional right.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
We do a better job at training the general populace and even some professionals as trainers than any government organization really could do. I mean, I know there's other government training organizations out there that do something kind of like that, but
sure,
really it's not. It's very specific. It's either going to be a specific college course or something like that. Mm-hmm. So,
well, look at the difference between the programs that we run all the time. You know, we have programs that like concealed carry where you shoot 50 rounds in 2 hours. Then we have fundamentals where you shoot 250 rounds, you know, over the course of the day, and up to 2-day defensive pistol, et cetera, you know. We run that. You can normally take all those classes in a month.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of times. You can take all those classes in a month. Where are you going to find any government organization where you're going to be able to take actual hands-on gun training and take all them classes in a month?
Where are you going to find any organization where you're going to be able to do any of that in a month?
No, you're not going to do it.
You can't. I mean, for Pete's sake, you go to get a set of license. Well, you go to get a driver's license anymore. It takes 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
It used to be, it was kind of nice in Ohio. You walked in, they printed you a driver's license. Okay, this is pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Now you got to have all kind of crap.
Now with new government ID.
Yeah, the government got involved, and guess what happened?
Yeah.
Well, and I like how you put on there when you step into the side of beyond the mainstream media's portrayal of
the NRA,
and you actually go there and step into that world and talk to. They always show the top guys of the NRA, and they always this is, but then they go in and wait a minute, no. Then they come in and they talk to people like us, and we're like, well, I am the NRA.
we are the NRA.
We are the NRA, and they turn and they go, well, wow. And as far as it's funny with the whole thing, it just remade me with him having to go through his bureaucracy and having something to say about it.
Yeah.
The amount of times here, especially since March, when you get these first time gun owners that have believed all of the things that have been said and all of the narratives that have been pushed for gun control by the liberal politics, all of the things that they've been pushed to believe, and they start believing them and seen on mainstream and all these things that they say, and they come walking in and they go, oh, I want to buy a gun. Okay, well, I want to buy that one. Cool. Fill out this form. Why? Because you have to.
I have to fill out all that?
There's a lot on that form. Yes, there is. I have to fill it all out? Yes, you do. Some of these questions are kind of personal. Yes, they are. Well, what are you going to do with that? I'm going to contact the FBI, submit your answers, and they're going to tell me if I can sell you this gun or not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
What if they say
well,
no?
I thought I could just come in and just buy a gun, and I would just get a gun.
Oh no,
that's what the news told you. This is life.
Yeah. Or the internet guys. I found this gun on the internet. Yeah, it won't let me ship it to me. I need to ship it to you. Why can't I have it? Can you send it to my house? No, you're going to come in and fill paperwork out before you can pick it up.
Yeah. Yep. They believed in that hype, and there's so many. Hundreds of thousands of them now across, coast to coast that are walking into, gun shops like ours, walking in and going, well, this is what they said I could do. Yep, I know. Shake my head every time I see it. They're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Wrong. They're just
and they just
wrong.
They just go, really?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Yep.
This is how you do those things, and they're wrong. And they kind of, you just see the gears just a turning.
Yeah,
man, they were.
They get the look on their face like those people lied to me.
Yeah, well, those people lied.
They did.
Well, those people lied to me. Yeah. They were wrong.
They told me it was easier to buy a gun on the internet than it was a Bible.
Well, they were wrong. You see them gears. What else did they lie to me about? And they were wrong about.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then all of a sudden they're like, wait.
Well, and then sometimes you get to talk to them as they come in, because this kind of thing is, now we're getting people that's coming in as regular customers, and now they're coming in and they're going, they're starting to open their eyes and look at the whole thing as a whole, and they come in and they start saying stuff that, a year ago they'd have been completely on the other side of saying something like that, and they come in and they go, well, they said something about this. Or they'll come in and ask questions about some of the stuff in the laws, or just stuff they've seen. And you're like, yeah, no,
you can't do that.
Well, it's like, yeah, no, this is actually what it says.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how it works.
Too,
and
they come. We've seen a lot of new customers, and obviously some of them have never been on this side of the fence, so to speak, and then they come back, and then they come back again, and we see them in here buying a holster for their new gun and ammo, and maybe, what's that class, and we explain the whole thing to them, and then they bring their girlfriends in, or husbands or wives or whatever, and then you hear them on the way out. These people are really nice. They're not really all that bad.
Yeah.
No, they actually they start coming to class. They start hanging out in the store. They start talking with people, and when you come into here, and you can walk into anything from deer hunting to little kids to it's just it's just our everyday lives of they have this mental picture of
gun-toting rednecks.
Well, gun-toting hardened up rednecks that are gonna just start sending lead down range at the drop of a hat, and they walk in and everybody's, hey, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
Want some coffee?
Yeah, exactly. How about you get your water?
Yeah, the picture painted is not always what is what it looks like when you turn the lights on.
Absolutely not. It's not.
All right, so what do you got for products of the week?
Product of the week. We got a couple new cleaning products. Rem Oil, I don't know how long this stuff been out, but first time we've gotten it. Rem Oil Pro. I don't know if the composition of it is the same as the regular Rem Oil, but I'm going to give it a shot here pretty quick. I've been using Rem oil for a long time. It says premium lubricant, protection against corrosion, friction, against wear. If it works as good as the regular Rem oil, I'll be happy camper. You know. And we got Birchwood Casey gun scrubber. I think I used some of this about 20 years ago, but never got any more. Never had a gun shop, so I never found it before.
High pressure spray.
High pressure spray. Supposedly, I've heard some people talk about this stuff. You take the slide off your pistol and spray it down, the slide and stuff, and supposedly the stuff just runs right off. I've never tried it on a pistol.
Well, when I see high pressure spray, that generally tells me safety glasses are required.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's gonna hit them little. You ever?
Yeah. Don't wear your suit.
You ever sprayed your guard nose in the ground, and it all gets you in the face?
Yeah.
A bucket works better.
Yeah.
Full blast in a bucket. Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you get.
Yeah, gloves and probably
safety glasses.
Safety glasses would be a good idea.
And don't smile when you start spraying.
Extremely flammable, so don't be smoking those cigarettes when you're using that stuff. And the other thing we got this. We've sold a lot of this elderberry syrup in the past. We did get a new shipment in. I know there's some people still looking for this stuff. We got it here in the store. It's the same price as it was before. I think we got 8 or 10, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Being fall, everybody allergies and
everybody's
flu
allergies
and
kicking up, and so it's a good thing to have around in the fridge.
I think we should submit that stuff for find out if it's a COVID deterrent.
COVID deterrent.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Not approved by Fauci.
In any event, that's what we got. Remol Pro, Birchwood Casey gun scrubber, and elderberry syrup. That's a combination for you.
There's a combination for you.
Yep. So that's what we got for you guys tonight. Full classes all weekend. We'll be out and about.
You're going to take training class.
I'm going to take training class, so we're going to have guys here. We'll try and make it back here next week. Same time, same channel. Once again, tell your friends. And if you want to see something on the show, let us know. We'll try and get it on there for you. Hopefully everybody has a good weekend. Hopefully you got enough ammo to do a little bit of shooting. And stay safe. We'll see you next week.